Comments and views expressed on the Miracles on the Street show are the views of those who make them and not reflect the views of Terry Young, Miracles on the Street, or any of its affiliates or sponsors.
That's a miracle today. Amen. I do too. I need something. You never know. Supernatural. In a message of God, I said the miracle. I said the miracle. I said the miracle.
The thing with my dad is he was an alcoholic, and so the life with him was like a roller coaster. And I would say a box of chocolates, but that phrase that has been used so many times, you know, because you never knew what you were going to get with my dad, or how he was going to be. And he was a working alcoholic. He worked all week hard, and he drank hard and made up for what he missed out on during the week. I didn't drink, and I was a good girl. I didn't do anything, you know, because I was basically loved my mom, didn't want to hurt her, scared of my dad, didn't want to get hurt by him. My dad, from his alcoholism, he died when I was 18. He was 53, which is the age that I am right now. And he died. I just can't imagine. My testimony, it's not my testimony, it's testimony to my mother, she has passed away now, Alzheimer's. She, for her faithfulness, the Lord had blessed her with another husband, who was the richest man in town, and she was treated like a princess, like a queen for 20 years. She got everything she ever wanted. And she got a man who loved her and really loved her. Not a possessive kind of love, but a love where they would sit and read books together and, you know, and not have to talk. And a love like that is just, you know, God blessed her for her faithfulness to her first husband. I believe completely in my heart. And boy, he blessed her. He saved the best for last for her. Okay, so I was married. I married my husband, Chris. I had a daughter, and up until that point I had been clean and sober, never stealing again, never smoking, never doing anything. And amazing, because the five out of six of us kids drank. Everyone was an alcoholic and smoked, and I was the only one who didn't smoke and didn't drink out of everybody, my siblings, my family. And they had all kinds of problems. And being the youngest, I had watched each one of them with their relationships. And I had looked and watched and taken note, basically, of what not to do when you get older. And I didn't do that. I didn't get pregnant out of wedlock, and I got married, and I did what was right, always trying to do what was right. You know, what everybody said was right. And, after I had my first child, I gained some weight, and I had a friend of mine who had told me about a doctor who was had diet pills, and and that was a big deal back then. It was a fen-phen, and so she was like 10 years older than me, and we both had babies at the same time, so our babies would play together, and she was losing weight, and she told me, yeah, go to this doctor. And this doctor, he didn't care. He just write those prescriptions. And then he got he did get in trouble eventually. But in the meantime, I was getting addicted to the whatever's in the amphetamine. And my personality is everybody used to say how bubbly I was. You know, I had energy and everything that was natural, but I bought into the lie that I needed to lose weight. Just try. Everybody else was doing it. Fen-phen was just a big deal. So I had become addicted, and eventually it wasn't enough, you know, whatever was in the fentanyl. And so I ended up going into getting into more amphetamines. And it ended up ruining my relationship with my husband. For he thought I was being unfaithful to him, when I was actually not ever unfaithful to him. But in another way, I was unfaithful by sneaking around and doing amphetamines behind his back, which is another way. It is unfaithful because it made him wonder what I was doing. Our relationship broke up, and I had went out the deep end. I went wild, basically, and it wasn't pretty. And I met the father of my second child, which is Ashley. And having Ashley, the relationship I have with my daughter, as she got older, I saw that I wanted something more for her. You know, I wanted something more for myself. And I ended up going to jail for about a couple days. I went to jail, and I met these women there who told me about the House of Decision. I don't know if you guys know about the House of Decision, but I'm sure if you live in Beaumont, you have to know. And God blessed me with it by the House of Decision.
Precision.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. These women told me about it. They gave me the phone number of a man named BJ who ran it. And right when I got out, I called him, and he said, "Come on in, and we'll talk about it." And so I went, and I had an interview with him. He told me there, yes, you know, you can come, bring your daughter. And so we did. I went straight home, packed everything up, and I never looked back.
Amen.
Never looked back, because and what God has done, the minute I walked into the door, I used to cuss. I can't even believe it now. Every word he said coming out of my mouth was a cuss word. But my heart changed almost instantly when I got to the House of Decision. I didn't cuss, and then God filled my heart with love, and my daughter. Down the line, I backslid, and my daughter had some bad things happen to her. Not bad things happen to her, but with Christians, so-called Christians in her life. And she turned her back on, you know, thinking that Christians were just full of it. And I used to pray, you know, that God would touch her heart. And He did. And now, with our relationship that we have, she's come full circle, you know? And I cannot believe that I missed the part where I came to Christ, because I was out there in the world. But now I know that God had His hand on me. And even though we do go our own ways, you know, it's not His will that I would go this way. He wanted me to go this way. But because I went this way, He made provision as I went this way. And that's what it's all about, is, you know, the decisions that we make, and the love that it takes to make those decisions. You know, and my child, the love that I had for her, and hoping that she would not have to go through what I went through. And she hasn't. I'll tell you, God has broken those bonds, generational curses that I may have had from my father and so on.
Amen.
And this her generation, she doesn't have any of it. She's strong-willed, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do anything. She's waiting on God to bring her a husband. And and I mean waiting, as in not dating at all. He's going to have to bring that man to our door, because that's how much she's waiting on him and trusting in God to bring her her husband. So for all that I went through, it's been worth it. And I would never change a thing, because of what I got out of it. God has turned my ashes into beauty, and taken what my hands have destroyed, and He has put it back together and given me her the confirmation that He was there all along. And I couldn't change anything. So I thank you, and I'm sorry about getting up, but I thank you so much for being here and listening to me, and I just hope that what I, maybe some of the things I said has, blessed you.
Written by Terry Young, Fresh Bread from Heaven's Bakery brings you a fresh, invigorating view of stories that were inspired of God and penned by scribes of ancient times, gathered together into a book called the Bible. You will get some nuggets of truth as you read Fresh Bread from Heaven's Bakery, which will shatter what the church has taught you or what you have read and found on the internet. Draw your own conclusions, believe what you will, but one thing for sure, Fresh Bread from Heaven's Bakery will provide you with truths. So order your copy today from Amazon.com or from www.theorygiftbaskets.com. Comments and views expressed on the Miracles on the Street